then you seconded it.
I thought, I have you guys thinking.
I made a motion.
Then Tim
Yeah, I
seconded.
second.
And then did you do that for Houghton?
No, Hutton did not because she didn't call you.
I didn't hear that, I just wanted to make sure.
All right, try now.
If you can hear me, Jim, text me back, please.
I think it's working because that bottom line is bouncing,
Right.
and it wasn't before.
Check, check, check. You guys, can you guys hear it out through the speakers
Yeah.
out there?
It's coming up through here.
Did it before?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll invoice you for the technical support.
Not a problem. I'll make sure to send it to April Brandon.
$9.
No, it's actually $842
You
now.
use what?
Minimum 4.
Control, Alt, Delete, that fixes everything.
No, usually it's the hammer and the duct tape.
No, it's more finesse than that. You just have to know where to push.
Oh, you can hear it.
Okay, yeah, we're good to go.
All right. Should we start over again? You guys missed my wonderful rendition of the statement of purpose. I apologize for that. No, it's in my deepest radio voice. Okay, so I think we're live and
Sorry for having to do that. Sorry for the interruption.
take two, but
All right.
just with more feeling.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Yes.
And you're up.
Do that part of it.
Yep, so just a reminder, we said it a few minutes ago, but there is a typo on the map, on the prints, the address is incorrect. I will get that corrected and back over to you guys tomorrow morning. We are asking for approval to leave the existing windows in their current location and add the archtop detail that they had before.
How's that gonna be done?
I got a brick mason. We're actually going to take out several courses of brick above the square openings so that they can put in that arch top and use that. So I got a brick mason that can handle that.
We can? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because it doesn't really show how it's gonna be attached.
Right. Well, these windows were square or rectangular.
Yeah.
Even back in the 1800s.
So the windows have always been rectangular. The arch is in the brick only.
Yes.
So that's what we'd like to go back to so that it has the same look
Right.
that it had before.
And
You
also,
actually have the original presentation you guys made with all the nice
Yeah.
colors there.
Was that brick protruding or was it flush?
It comes out about a quarter of an inch. It's corbelled
It
out.
does have like a little
Yeah.
definition of it.
Mhm.
Okay.
As long as you can see.
So there's a slight depth there.
Just checking, that's all I want to make sure.
Okay. And then, so that takes care of the north wall, right? Or is that, yeah,
The north and the west,
The west.
right.
we're going to have that done on both of those elevations.
So in the pictures from the packet, there was a door between the
yeah,
two.
this is incorrect on the new drawing. It's not a window, it's a door. There's two doors there on the bottom.
There's a handle on that.
Yeah, so I never saw the building. I was operating off the architect's plans that I saw, and
Yes.
he was unclear on whether that was a door or window, and so that is two doors on the lower side of that we will go back with two doors just like they were before. The same style of door, the same everything. We
So-
actually have the front door that's gonna go back in, the original front door, so that's
Yep.
not gonna be a replacement, that's gonna be the existing front door.
Nice. So I had a meeting with, well, finish up your presentation, and I'll go into my little thing, and then we'll take it from there.
The only other thing I wanted to say is something I just found out. The original architect said on the west elevation that we were replacing an existing awning. Andrew, you just told me there was no awning there before.
It was just a platform for the air conditioning units, and that's now on the rooftop. So there's no reason to have that overhang there.
That false roof
Correct.
there.
Exactly. Now that, you know, I can't believe that would have been over 100 years
I mean, we don't know if it was
I don't
originally.
have any pictures from before that. Or anything to, compare,
Yeah, okay.
unless someone else knows something different.
No, I don't.
From the 1800s? No, we don't.
Okay.
We did find, there was a picture found, an older picture, but we did not receive it in time for the meeting. They found one
So you
somewhere.
don't have it?
No, we don't have it. It's on its way.
It's running late. I said it's running late.
Yes.
We'll have to excuse it from the meeting.
So I did have a meeting with the historic architect and Mr. Cullis, and we went over the project. He was concerned about the losing of the second door on the upper floor.
The one in the middle?
Because, yeah, so that falls into building codes depending on the use of the upper floor, because that means you only have one egress point, which is out the front. And that might be why that ledge was built, because there used to be a door for an emergency exit leaving the building.
The windows actually meet
Standard on
egress
roof.
requirements for anything like that, so you could use any of the windows for emergency egress.
He didn't know about, yeah, he didn't know if that was gonna be a problem, that would fall into building codes.
As far as I know, as long as you do have two means of egress from the building, any of the windows meet that egress requirement, so from a building standpoint, it should not be an issue.
So we would have, we have the two in the back.
He's saying from the
and then-
second story.
And then in the front.
Yeah, it also depends on the usage of what the second story is gonna be used.
It's going to remain unfinished for the foreseeable future, and it may at some point be an apartment, from what
Right.
Andrea is saying.
Kind of going into the apartment, back to the apartment, idea.
So there'll be a door, outside door to go to the apartment?
No. If you look at that west elevation, on the lower level, what I drew as a window will actually be a door that'll go straight up the steps to the apartment.
Okay.
Oh, that's what that door was, the one
Yeah.
door off to the one side that's right at
Yep.
the corner of the building was, okay. I often wondered that.
That's it.
Yeah, I was, at the time of the fire, I was remodeling the upstairs.
Okay.
I mean, I remember when I worked at a Millworks department in Home Depot, egress windows had just started.
Yeah.
And to consider egress, the firefighter has to be able to climb in with all his gear on through that window, or the opening, I should say.
5.7 square feet of opening meets fire egress. Which all of
I'm
these-
sure Mr. Craig over there could probably
Is that
specify what we need on that part.
Yeah. So technically, the second floor, I think, is slightly less, but not enough to make a difference.
Okay. All right. Any other, that was the only information that I got. Yeah, we'll be fine. Yeah. I usually make the motions, but now that I'm co-chairing,
I
Mr.
have one,
Tim's
are they
gonna
doing the,
possibly
are they doing the awnings too? Are you guys replacing,
Yes.
and are they gonna be back the way they were, or?
Well, and that's a question for you all, because, when I bought it, it was the downstairs and the upstairs had individual window awnings. So originally, when you look at some of the older pictures, they're more of a canopy, not necessarily awnings. So again, those were there when I bought the building in 13. So I don't know, what your requirement is. I think that, the windows are quite lovely with the arch in them, and you can't see them quite as well, however. And I also think that the awning, the skeleton of the awning, those have been damaged from the fire. The ones downstairs, on the first floor, those, I think would look nice being replaced, but whatever you show me.
At least the one arch over the window will be matching up with everything. I personally like window because it brings the allows the characteristic to be seen?
First and second photo?
Yeah, I think both of them.
Well, that's the way it was,
Mhm.
and I think that's what's on the,
I have a company that can
Drawings.
reproduce all 6 of those awnings, so that's not an issue for getting it done. So if Andrea would like to eliminate the awnings on the second floor, that's a style decision that I don't know if we can address that here, or if we need to make another appointment for later, because that wasn't on the
I think
application.
we'll go all or nothing, so we'll just, if you prefer, that we stick with what it was like pre-fire, then we'll just put the awnings on all 6. No problem.
So, the drawings are very nice, by the way.
Thank you.
Well, I mean it, usually we get a 5x7 piece, so I make a motion,
Let's see. So, hold on. You'll get to do this. I usually do this, so.
right,
um,
oops, I'll just,
Well, this is the notice there.
yeah, no, I moved,
Are you doing
Well,
the
wait,
interior
this
also
way.
or no?
Then you
Yes,
need
sir.
to
So
pick,
this is like your final,
This
That's the
is
plan.
This is
One
the
of
full
these
tip
that
tilt
fits,
boogie.
right?
Yep, this is it.
and it's,
This is the race to the end.
and are they gonna have the vent for the kitchen still coming out the side by the parking
so
lot
I was
then,
thinking
or?
maybe
The
5.
the what?
The vent for the kitchen, those little big old round stainless steel?
No.
No, they're going up through the roof.
Oh,
That
there's-
was non-functioning.
Oh, I can't remember if it was there, I distinctly
No, that
remember
was-
something right there, I don't remember what it was, but.
Apparently,
Repaired
right
rather than replaced,
mid-building
this
there,
doesn't fit.
it was the kitchen was on the right when you walk
That
in,
doesn't fit.
in the middle, but it wasn't there. It was, they had a
That's all
whole,
they features, right? So I think
that
it only
that goes to
fits.
the up to the roof.
It doesn't look like the awnings were there in 1870.
they reused it,
Do you know when those were added to the building? No.
well, which one do you want me to do?
So I think.
Well, that's what we were just talking
Right,
about.
but so you said all or nothing, but if you,
It's up to you. It's up to this committee because we want to.
Correct me if I'm wrong, you said if you had your preference, you would do awnings on the first floor and remove the awnings from the second floor, so you could see the architectural detail above the windows better.
Exactly.
That would be the preference.
What are we gonna,
could we do that?
what is gonna be behind where the awning, it's gonna be a piece of plywood, right?
No, it's window.
Yeah, there's a window back there that was covered by the awnings.
Oh, the window goes
Windows-
all the way up? Oh,
Yeah,
well,
the windows, there's a half moon glass on the top.
Okay,
So that's that's why you wouldn't notice it, because it was covered by the awning.
Because the
that's-
awnings weren't originally there in 1870.
What pictures are you looking at?
Well, this is a pack of the proposal, I found it, it's the proposal that was prepared for you by Oakland County
Yeah.
for the grant. So it's got a lot of really good pictures in it.
Yes,
So
there's
I-
sorry, now I can find it. There's a blurry picture. Oh,
there, that one.
So there's this picture.
Right, right, and
says-
that's what I mentioned when I first started talking about it, is that they were all like canopies, like you would see on a RV.
Well, right, there's a canopy on this building, but on what's now Andy's place, there was no awnings. It looks like it was just the windows.
Oh, it is pretty blurry.
Pretty much looks the same sort of thing, where the moose is now. It looks almost like it. But I think the single ones on the bottom are more
Oh,
characteristic.
maybe, yeah, maybe it's like a square off. But the upper windows originally didn't, it doesn't look like the upper windows originally had awnings. I don't know.
Tim, did you want to see this picture?
Yeah, I know the picture,
Really, you saw it?
yeah.
Based off the pictures, I'm not sure the awnings have to be on the second floor.
Thank you.
No, I mean, I'd rather see the architect and the glass and everything else.
Yeah, so
Then
maybe
awning.
the awnings on the first floor and then no awnings on the second floor so you can see
That's what I would like
that
as
arch.
well.
Because the
Okay.
awnings on the second floor don't really serve a purpose either, and they weren't originally there.
Where'd it go?
It probably got all shuffled up.
Oh, no, sorry, it's,
It's the third page? Oh, there it is, yeah,
there's,
fifth
yeah,
page.
I had a hard time finding it.
So that's the old Opry House,
Right.
and that's the,
It looks like to me it had an old, like just a regular little small,
Right.
that went down the rest of it, because like the moose, where the mooses now had one like that.
Okay.
all
All
right.
right.
So,
Make a motion,
so some language also.
okay. I move the commission issue a notice to proceed for the application for this place
Application number is,
is 2025-0002. The work is not appropriate, however, the following condition prevails, and the proposed application will materially correct the condition. Changes to a property that have acquired historic significance in their own right will be retained and preserved. Distinctive materials, features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize the property will be preserved, and accept the condition on building department approval, one on egress and ingress to top floor, and grant approval.
but another commissioner showed up, very well.
All right,
I called George and said I was gonna be late, but I didn't, he wasn't here.
Yeah, he's not here.
all right,
If we second it, we don't gotta read that whole speech, right?
that's correct.
I'll
All in
second the motion.
Well, wait, let's let for the other commissioner to
Oh,
come up to speed.
I'll pull my second away.
No. Well, we can have discussion after the point of order, after the second. We can still have discussion before we vote.
Okay.
I'll put my second back in.
All right, let's have some discussion to bring the other commissioner back up to speed. I found this presentation that was created for the property by Oakland County.
I sent you a copy of that.
We were discussing
We
the
need to do away with those.
the awnings
there.
over the windows. I don't know how that's gonna be. I don't know, that we might have to change that motion.
Yeah, we're ready, so we can see the architectural glass and everything else.
Any material changes?
We said that,
Okay.
yeah, we said all that.
And then the new windows are on the sides, on the west side, they're gonna have the arches over them. And that was supposed to be a door, not a window. Yeah, no, this one here. That's the door that leads to the upstairs.
So the door on the prints, is that gonna be an administrative change and also the address?
Yes.
Okay, how are we gonna memorialize the awning
I think,
additions or unadditions?
I think that all you gotta do is just, Tim would have to modify his motion to accept the changing of the address and the changing of the removal of the awnings on the top, second floor. That's how we usually do it in council.
And I can make a note on the drawings when I submit the revised drawings that the awnings on the second floor will not be installed.
because I don't think we won't see these prints again. and we'll
Right.
have no,
That's a door.
Where do they go?
That's automatically, gonna be- it just got.
I sent them to somebody at the city. I'm trying to remember who I sent them to originally. So,
Cause it's always, that always is a door.
these ones. Okay, I dropped them off, but then somebody asked for an electronic copy and I sent them. Okay, that was you? Okay, so I will send these to you tomorrow morning with the correct address and
The door change
the door change
And the
and the
removal of
awnings.
the
I could
awnings.
put a note on the awnings.
and the, are we doing one with the existing, the blueprints, just the back thing? The like ledge in the
Oh,
back,
the, platforms?
air conditioner holder? I mean, that's all it really is good for.
that's not on the print, so,
No, it's on the print.
It's on print,
it's on the print?
yes,
Where?
There's a note on there.
in red.
Okay.
Existing awning in place. Like,
Oh, in red?
it's written in the red.
Existing on your place, yes.
The one that you showed us in the.
So
I
that
got
would
the
be in
papers.
the motion, sir.
Oops.
Is that,
So that's, it wasn't functional.
Right. So we're asking if we can not put that in.
Quite a bit of material changes, right?
yeah.
Wait, no, I saw it, you showed it to us. You are better, probably faster at that than I am for that thing.
Oh, for the, yeah, the
To see where it was, because you could see if it had any substantial values to it at all, or.
Yeah, it wasn't functional, before.
Yeah, you can see where it
It
ran the air
wasn't
conditioner
there.
stuff. And basically, that, looks like that was boarded up for a while.
So there, this is gonna be the egress, it's gonna be another door.
Yeah, the door's gonna be down here, where there always was a door down
This
there.
is the door.
Yeah.
Right
It was supposed to be a door originally. That was the one that led upstairs, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
The one in the corner.
Yes.
And then the one in the center between the two windows was just boarded up, right?
That goes, no, that goes right into the bar.
He's talking about on the upper story?
Upset. Upper.
Upside.
Upstairs?
Yeah, on this-
No, it was boarded up, it was not a functional door.
So for aesthetic purposes, it would look better not to have something just there for,
Right.
in my eyes, you know, so.
All right, so I think we have to redo that motion.
Okay.
We just add to the motion, add to it.
Well, for
I
the,
think,
the person taking the notes is gonna go crazy.
Sorry.
Wait a second. Oh, he's making notes, okay.
what's your brother's name?
Swank Builders?
Swank.
Swank.
What's your first name though?
My name's Kyle.
Kyle, all right. So just so we're all on the same page, we're gonna be taking the existing awning that's showing in the middle on the elevation of the west side, we're taking that off,
Mm-hmm.
and there's supposed to be a door on the corner. So there'd be two entry doors, one goes into the back of the bar, one goes to the upstairs.
Correct.
We're putting the arches over the three windows, top and bottom set, so a total of 6 arches.
And in the back.
6 arches on one side and 4 more on the back side.
Back.
Yep. Yeah, there's 2 up
Yeah.
top.
2 up top,
windows
2
and
down below.
doors.
2 door, 2 window.
Yep.
Yes.
And then we're gonna be removing the requirement of having the, canopies over the windows on the second floor.
Yes,
And we're gonna be changing the correct address to 208,
correct.
308. It was probably a fat finger, we all do it.
It was
And you'll have that
tomorrow morning.
dated, sent over
Send it to Stacy.
All right.
Mhm.
We have, do the corrections on our copy. So it's correct.
I think if we just have them initial one of our copies.
Could have them do the corrections here.
He's making them on his. Is that
I
what-
have to do them on the computer and I'll resend them tomorrow morning.
But I'm just so that we can vote on it correctly, could you just
Sure.
We'll make this,
Or
Just pick one piece.
yeah, this one.
initially or make the changes, however, yeah.
Or you can do it 6 times, because
Well, I don't, so you don't have to come back.
And we'll just go to
You want
states,
Andy's
yeah,
place open.
stamped.
I'm sure we're all gonna go to jail over this, so.
No, I guarantee.
I got fitted yesterday, so I'm good.
Yeah.
You got fitted?
Yeah, for my jumpsuit. Getting a nice orange one from Mexico.
Uh-oh, what are you doing now?
I'm just kidding.
I remember.
That
when
and my Walmart vest. Okay.
All right, those are the 4 changes.
Okay. Correct. Correct, and then,
No changes there, that was what.
That
we're
shows the
asking for.
arches, yes.
right,
Yep.
all right.
And they're gonna be
Sign that,
masonry
or
changes, so that's good.
I initially, want me to sign that too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just sign it back in the bottom wherever.
Sign it.
Thumbprint would be good too.
And name of firstborn and, your firstborn and, the tire prints in your food truck. and-
Pet's name, okay.
I don't have any pets, sorry.
Pass this down so the other commissioners can observe.
All right.
Change the door.
So we still do want to include,
Right.
this,
There is.
just in case there's a building inspector issue, we're gonna make it contingent on building inspection.
There, but you've already got it crossed off. Correct address there.
Same,
That's where it's
updated.
at. And then he's like,
Let's see.
So that just means
Yep.
that.
So the
And he
Secretary
does
of
any-
Interior has
they've already
given us,
approved that?
just for
So-
the audience at home, Secretary of Interior has language inside the law, and I usually carry it on my notepad, and I've given Mr. Turbine those, because I usually do them, for the past years.
he's sending that.
So
to-
he'll be able to do it,
he'll be
because
sending
I'm
that to
acting
her
as
tomorrow.
chair.
This is just so we had
Okay.
one for us at the.
And he's very good at
Tim,
it.
right there, hand back to
All
Tim.
right.
Very good at it.
Down this way, so that we.
Okay, wait, hold on, we'll get,
That's the official one. now.
this one's gonna be, this is
This says go official.
the anointed one.
That's the one that is.
I'll fold it up properly for you.
All right. All right, I move the commission issue a notice to proceed for application number 2025-002, which has been updated. The work is not appropriate, however, the following condition prevails, and the proposed application will materially correct the condition. Okay, and changes to property have been and acquired historic significance in their own right will be retained and preserved. Distinctive materials, features, finishes, and construction techniques or examples of craftsmanship that characterize a property will also be preserved. And we're accepting the conditions on building department approval on egress and ingress to the top floor and to grant approval. That's my motion.
Okay.
I will second that motion.
Okay.
Roll call now?
Roll call?
Is there
Okay.
discussion on here?
Or is there any discussion?
Well,
We're all good.
I have one and nothing against you. Are you, not to be bold or saying it, but are you gonna keep a closer eye on the construction this time, or best you can? I'm not trying to
Yes.
prove, I heard it come up at the last meeting, I wasn't here for it, I watched
Well,
it.
I wasn't expecting a scolding on my construction skills.
No, I'm just saying, you know,
That was not,
I think,
I did the best I can, but, it was a big learning curve, and, I'm able to do a better job.
I think all of us kinda dropped the ball a little bit, but that's just my opinion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor with seconded. Do you want to do a roll call?
Turpinning,
Yes.
Hutton,
Yes.
Wendell,
Yes.
Van Salty, McCanny.
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
Okay,
Get it done, because I want some burgers.
motion approved.
It's gonna look beautiful.
I know.
You'll see it soon.
Thank you for your patience.
Okay, on to topic number 2, the status of the HDC guidelines. That's on me. So, I have the changes made that were suggested by SHPO. We ran into a formatting problem with the back page because one of the commissioners that added to the document passed away. So I wanted to get the proper verbiage and also talk to the widow to see if there's any other things that she wanted to add. As for Mr. Turpeting, not Mr. Turpeting, you're still alive.
Yes.
As for
I'm
Mr.
like-
Sessa,
Thank
Bill DeSessa. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get those changes put in and I'll push it to Stacy. I was gonna call you Sally for some reason, I apologize. Push it over to Stacy and we'll get that out into the packages. All right. Number 3, the ongoing compliance issues with the downtown buildings. I was down for the Township Planning Commission meeting last night and the auto show, and I didn't see any movement on those buildings. Do we have any updates from administration on enforcement of the issues that we've been talking about for?
Yes, I'm on. I spoke today was in a meeting with Chief Watson, Chief Narsh, Village Manager Price. We did have some discussion dealing with code compliance and ordinances and where we're heading with things on enforcing those ordinances. My question to the board is, how far back do we go? How far do we reach? The entire district, just downtown? How many changes of ownerships have occurred in these buildings along the way? There's a lot more that we have to look into on this. Certainly we are in the works. I will probably be talking to Mr. Price again next week when I get back into work the first part of the week. I was hoping Mr. Cullis was here because I know him and I have had discussions in this issue, and I know the chair and village manager have had discussions as well.
Okay. That is a interesting question. It always comes up. We just had not a similar issue, but it's almost like a cascading where do we stop situation. But in the township, we just had Crane Heating and Cooling wanted to add a building to their property. Because they wanted to add a building to their property, it opened up all the other ordinances that they had to comply with. So the issue is that the windows are obviously wrong. They're vinyl windows, they don't fit the opening, they actually put plywood in the holes that the windows did not fill. So it's an obvious correction that needs to be put in place. Now, going back and cascading how far you want to go, I believe the historic architect gave us some training on that, and there is a gray area, a subjective area, because how far back do you really go? But this brings up my point that I made, that if you want to make a change to historic district, you just sell it to your corporation, make the changes and then sell it back, and you say, well, I just bought the piece of property, so what are you gonna do? So the remember, the historic district is supposed to take care of the outside envelope of the building. The building is supposed to tell a story of a historical situation way back by somebody walking around the building with nobody talking to them in their ear. So you can add new construction to an old building, but it obviously has to be new construction. But the new construction also has to blend in and match the character of the building that is being built. Vinyl windows does not belong anywhere in the Battle Alley sector. Now, RHL put up windows, but I believe, I can't tell that. They were wood on the outside or wood on the inside, but they matched the fenestration and the light of the old windows. Or correct me.
Without going back through my reports, I know RHL, there was information. See if I can find it, because I know they were fire damaged, was part of the issues with RHL's window because of the because of the fire downtown. And I know there was some fire damage, fire issues, and I know there was permits pulled, and it did go in front of this commission for RHL. I'd have to, bear with me, if it's not on my tablet, it's on my laptop.
Which one is RHL? Is that the one that's across from the hotel?
Yes.
Well, because I know they were doing something to windows on the second floor, and I never seen it come through here when I was a commissioner.
You're talking about the front? You were
Yeah.
discussing the front windows
Yes.
on the
Well,
Holly
we're
Hotel.
discussing this argument that keeps coming up is how far do we go? And it's a deflection tactic to pause and not make decisions. It's all it is. There is a reasonable amount of backness or reversing that can go to bring it to a point where when somebody's walking down Battle Alley, they don't obviously see an Anderson vinyl window, and those aren't even Andersons, I don't believe. They're probably
Their own Depots.
somebody else's. They can obviously go, oh, well, those windows were replaced. So there is some subjectiveness to it, but it needs to be corrected. And it really does. And it doesn't matter, I mean, they bought a historical building. And that's another thing that we've been fighting for many, many years, is when somebody purchases a historical home, it's a big shock to them to find out that, wait, there's a district that has jurisdiction over my outside of my house. And we've been trying to insert that into the MSL listings, and we keep getting blowback. But it is true that we do. We have an enormous amount of power to do things with these buildings. The historic architect relayed a story from us from Washington State, where there was a historic building. The owners added on an entire section to the back side of the building, which was larger than the building its original size. And the Historic Commission made them tear it down, and it held up in court. So technically, we can do that, and this commission has been very mild and very compliant and very flexible. And actually, we've improved a lot of the projects that have come before us because we bring in the architect from Oakland County Historical Committee.
Commission,
Well, yeah,
Commission Society, whatever.
and he actually does better drawings and has better ideas about how to make the building, more compliant.
Is there a way to make, like, have them get a, put where the piece of plywood is, like for the arch of the window, then obviously get one cut for something like that, but we could have somebody make a wooden frame that kind of would fit that area and that would be retrofitted on front of the, per se, Anderson vinyl window or whatever, so it doesn't look like it's a white elephant in a dark alley. No,
There-
no pun intended.
There are ways around it, yes. There are companies that build windows specifically for that. It is a custom window, unfortunately, because it's an odd size.
I'm not saying replace it, I'm just saying have somebody who comes in with a piece of 1x that trims it all out and then stains it or whatever, however it's supposed to match for that particular building.
Mhm.
And that way then they still got the same window they had in there, so they're not replacing the window, they're just putting a new frame that's on the exterior part of it that'll be within enough compliance.
No. Well, there is, so if they go in and replace something, they have to comply.
Right.
The compliance issue for that building was brought up before the sale of the other, before the sale to the new owner.
But as a homeowner, or as a business owner, or even a homeowner, because there's homes in our historic district, so it looks like the, committee was, established in 1993. So anybody that purchased any property after 1993 should have been made aware of the historic district's requirements and should not have made any changes. So anybody that purchased property and made changes, or purchased property from somebody who made changes after 1993 has to go back and fix it. Like I live in an HOA, and if a homeowner previous to me made a change, painted the house purple, and I bought it, and the homeowners association comes along and says, I'm sorry, but your house is purple and it needs to be brown,
Yeah,
then I have to change it even though it was the previous owner.
yep.
So anybody that purchased it after 1993, I feel like has to, even if it wasn't their doing, has to go back and make it historically correct,
Yeah,
to the best of their ability.
that is a viewpoint.
That's a very, I mean, that's, I guess that would be our return to how far do you go back one? Can't enforce nothing before we were developed. Before we were,
Before we were commissioned.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
until
Well,
the-
it's gonna be,
before the historical district was
Right.
decided.
yes, it is a very, it's a very difficult decision to make, and I think it would be property by property. And so then you have to figure out whether you're gonna have,
An assessment.
cascading, how you say in English? Cascading unintended consequences of that type of enforcement.
Right. Because we don't want the businesses to go to business. Because
Right.
they can't correct.
But when businesses obviously do something on the weekend and just, I mean, we literally caught a couple, like, right in front of us doing it. What do you do now? On Spike. So, I think this is gonna be an ongoing situation, and, we're definitely not gonna solve it tonight because it is impossible to make a, true or false statement or statement to include all situations in the district. But also, there needs to be compliance because people like coming to Holly because of the historic flavor, nature feelingness of the historic district. And you'll lose your district window by window and door by door if you don't do something about it. And this is not the first time that we brought this up. Absolutely not. So on number 3, ongoing compliance issues with downtown buildings is still up in the air.
I've got a couple questions and concern things. First is, do we have, because I know we've got a couple different areas that are laid out as historical districts, correct? There's like the downtown.
Our district is a non-contiguous district, yes, it is
Do we got any
non-compliant.
signage that says that, you know, this historical district, this area, or?
There are, there used to be street signs, some of the street signs were labeled as historic districts.
And then I hate to do this one, but if I wasn't gonna do my commissioner part, I wouldn't be doing my job right then. I did see a post that, the Moose wants to repaint the front of the building. And,
We don't have a color palette.
well, that was one thing. My other thing was is that, is there brick behind the wood from the original, because it was a 3-story building originally, it got knocked down to 1 because of fires, which I'm not saying you have to rebuild back to the 3-story height, but it would be nice to have it all be brick facade. Instead of
You're not
having,
gonna be able to get that through.
and it's why, I mean, I don't know if the brick is presently there, with good condition or in bad condition.
Yeah, no, they're able to repaint the existing wood and whatever color they wish,
You don't
because
gotta
we don't
bring-
have a color palette.
They don't gotta bring it to us at all?
No,
Alright. Just, that's what.
that's repair and replace. The homeowners are allowed to repair and replace with like-kind, materials.
Okay.
They don't have to get permission to paint or replace a piece of molding, as long as it's the original material and brings back the original look.
I'm just.
We're blessed, we are blessed that some homeowners actually take the time, loving and care to bring their buildings back closer to what it used to be. It is a sickness, old house syndrome. Most people, I have it, living in an old house. You want to return it back to as original as possible within the economic constraints that we all live under, right?
Mhm.
And right now, we are under some severe economic constraints. But no, you can't tell the Moose to remove all the siding because they want to paint it.
I was just asking, I was just inquiring.
I know, well, there's your answer.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate that.
That's not gonna fly. And the same thing goes with other people's houses. I mean, yeah, it's a very sticky situation, but when it's flagrantly just not followed, or it is obviously gone around, we need to have some teeth. And I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that, because we can't enforce it, although we can do some things. And they would be tough to eat. We
Well,
tried to guide, we tried to give new materials, we tried to give better documents, we tried to give better designs, and that has paid off. But it's a slippery slope, but it needs to be, we need to enforce it. We need to do something.
Well, like you said at the one meeting, if we're gonna have a historical district committee or commissioners, we should be following, and that people who should be following what has to be done.
Yeah. And it can definitely go too far, and in certain communities, in certain cities, like, where they signed the Declaration of Independence, and some other hugely historical buildings, the level of compliance changes, right? Because they have a color palette. They demand historical colors, they demand, so we are not there. We are trying to hold on to our historic feel, look, character, and yet still allow rehabilitation, reuse, and keeping buildings from actually being destroyed all at the same time. And it's very tricky. It's, open heart surgery on an awake patient. It's very fussy. But we do need to have backup from administration, so when we find things that are wrong, we need to get it corrected.
Is that where the ordinance officer would come in and write the ticket?
Yes,
Or-
or do something. But we can get a hold of SHPO and have them come in and tell us what our limitations are. But you'll be surprised how broad we actually could move. But then again, we're not like, we are a historical city. We're not a historically significant city in the grand scheme of things. Although Holly was pretty important in Michigan. I mean, there is a reason why, oh boy, what was her name?
Carrie Nation?
There was a reason why Carrie Nation came here
All the way from
and then
Kansas,
went to Detroit.
or wherever it was.
They came here because of, well, probably the debauchery or whatever was going on. But it was a really big part of Michigan. It was a big deal. Holly was a big deal. So,
Holly,
It was a big train.
because of the trains, the north-south track, the east-west track, was the second largest city in Michigan back at that time. It was Detroit number one, and Holly was number two. And, that's what we are trying to save,
yeah.
especially downtown, so it's really pretty interesting, so.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I knew it was big. I didn't
It's
know it was
number two.
But that would make sense why she came here.
Because all the farmers brought all their produce here and sold it at Crapo Park, then went on the trains and went this way. So,
Yeah, I between the circus and the residents. And that's when she came up with her axe wielding hand and
Right.
did what she
All
did.
right, I think we beat that topic up once again, probably enough. On to general business. There's no
No
general
business.
business, so I guess we'll move on to commission and staff comment. Mr. Tim?
I think I already did my comment, so
Okay,
thank you.
it was very well done.
Well, thank
It was
you.
a good comment. Very, very well crafted. Sir?
The only comment I want to make is make a motion to accept her being tardy.
I second that.
Okay, all those in
I
favor?
did call George.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
She's excused. Welcome back, I'm glad you're here. Well, hopefully it brought you up to speed on that decision. It's kind of a little perky little decision, but we got her done.
I have a question. If there is a house in the historic district and they are making outside repairs or adding things, does it have to come through us first before they can start?
If it's repairs and replace, as in original, no. But if they're putting on a deck, if they're putting on an addition, if they're adding a garage, remember in the district, the building outside is telling a story as if somebody's walking around the building with nobody talking to them. So any changes, any outbuilding changes, changes the story, and then we need to intervene and make sure that we're keeping the spirit of the Secretary of Interior's kind of in line. But if they got a broken stair and they need to replace a stair, they can fix it. Downspouts,
They just can't
molding,
add a new stairway
rotting.
because they want to.
rotting windows, all those wonderful things that we deal with every day with old houses.
Well, if it's a porch that was sagging, and of course they're gonna fix the porch, but then what if they start to enclose the porch instead of keeping it open?
If they enclose, they should probably come here.
Unless they did a temporary, there is a temporary way to do the enclosure that's not affecting any of the original construction, so it's actually protecting the original construction.
Could be, I don't know, I don't have the
Yeah.
porch, so I don't know do you have do you have an example that you're referring to?
Yes. I'll probably get in trouble, but George's side porch. Now, it was never enclosed before.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
It was.
Yeah, that
You tell me
project's been approved, it
Yes.
did come before the board
Oh, did it?
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
it did.
When did it come through?
several years ago.
Yeah, several
Yes.
years ago.
They had many construction starts and stops on it. They finally
Okay.
got somebody to actually build it, but it's been approved, it has a building permit pulled, and,
I know he had to
And
jump
approved
through
too,
hoops when
so.
he had to do his garage and stable because
Yes.
it wouldn't open if he was facing.
I
the wind.
wasn't here then, so I didn't
Yeah.
know that all of
Yeah,
that had
it's been approved.
come through.
and it was
So I-
enclosed, it was a whole screened-in thing
Right.
at one time,
So,
so.
yeah, because I've only been here 8 years, so I don't know what it originally looked like.
Yeah.
And I just noticed that he was,
Yeah, they finally got somebody to complete some work, so that's actually good.
Why are you laughing so much, Kurt?
No,
I'll
Okay.
probably get kicked off.
No,
no.
it's a very
No,
good
that's
question.
fine. So, are you done with your staff comments or comments?
I'm going.
You're all set, okay, good. Milady, your comments.
No, I'm good.
Okay, and welcome aboard, by the way. Thank you for being here and stepping up into this circus, this wonderful
This
commission.
place position?
Thank you, I'm excited to serve, I have a bit of a learning curve
We do have some, go ahead.
Well, I was thinking, so Battle Alley Coffee came and they brought, as an example, they brought the pictures of the way it used to be. And the outside was actually, we approved it, it was actually put back to the way it used to be. The inside, we don't touch. Outside was completely redone the way it used to be. Now it is the way it used to be. So if you want a gold star, go to Battle Alley Coffee, because everything on the outside is exactly now the way it was built. You know, with the wood and everything. And we were part of that. And it was quite, what, 3 years ago, or I don't know how long ago.
Let's not think about that.
Yeah,
because,
sorry, but,
Yeah, we'll feel really old.
but
Been here a long time.
that's the correct way they did it, and they came right up, they never tried to skip it, they said, we want to put this back.
Yeah.
And we spent a long time with that, with Oakland County Historic also, and they all came in and, you know, it's spectacular. And the coffee's really good, but that has nothing to do with us.
Very well.
Right.
We do have training throughout the years, Bob comes in and does, I believe it's Bob. I forgot his name.
That's okay.
Ron.
Oh, Ron's in
Ron.
there, right?
Ron Campbell.
Ron Campbell.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Bob. I mean, Ron. We'll have to change his name to Bob. But he comes in and does some training for us, so we can bring you up to speed. But other than that, yep, it is a lot. It's a prickly commission to be on. Most of the time, we're liked, but a lot of the times, we're not well liked. And that's just the way it goes. But we do have guidelines, and we do have backup, pretty heavy backup. So it can be tested in court if they want. But we do have a lot of leverage. And it's important, and it's also one of the reasons why they have it in place, or we can end up like a Fenton, or I don't know if anybody's been to Royal Oak recently.
Yeah.
That could happen. And sometimes it's good for those communities, but this town wants to have historic feels, so we need to just do it. And I'm probably just rambling on. Okay, so, staff comment.
I just have to say, the reason I was chuckling is, it was just funny kind of watching how you were threading your way through the
I didn't want to bring up
My
any
apologies
names.
for chuckling.
No, I figured that's what it was for. I do have one question though I wanted to ask, I forgot to ask was, with it being like a historical house, is the flowering and landscaping, is that also, we don't,
No.
because I know I worked in a landscaping company when I did a house in Farmington Hills. Had to cut the grass just right, if we nicked a flower, we had to call somebody, if we messed up a fence piece, we had to call somebody,
Yeah.
because it had to be just so.
No, not in this district.
Okay.
We didn't go there. We can.
No, I don't think we really want, I was
Can't.
just curious if that was something that we had to do too.
No. Just right now, it's just the outer envelope of the structure, trying to protect it. And then each one is treated as separate, and that wraps in the economics of the situation and what we find and all that kind of good stuff. And we just gotta try to do the best we can. But when it's obviously flaunted, we need to do something too.
And when they're obviously flaunting it, do we just call Cullis or you, or?
Yeah, call us or I, and then they have more contacts into the administration.
Or Kurt, for instance, if he's. I'm just, like, if we see something going on that we know isn't supposed to be, oh, hey, George, do you know they're doing this to such and such building right here on Battle Alley? and
Well,
it's
we
a
have,
Saturday afternoon?"
we have done that, we have stopped. So what happens, so the classical thing, for you use at home, keeping score. What typically happens is, well, the Anderson windows come in, they'll go through the town and they'll sell a bunch of windows, they come in on Friday or Saturday night, and then they change all the windows. If we, and they don't pull a permit, so they just do it. Typically, the homeowner doesn't know or understand that they are in the district and that they're part of it. And that's probably something that we need to do, is send out cards saying congratulations. But, so that's usually how it happens. And I have been downtown and saw some things going on and called up George, said, hey, what's happening? We called Jeremy, we called a police officer, and said, hey, cease and desist. You don't have permit, you don't have authority to do this, what are you doing? And then it has to stop. We can't interfere, we can't go in and tie ourselves to the tree and put up signs, but we can report it to authorities and see what they can do. And it is, it's typically when the windows are removed, they're lost. And the other thing in the training, though, it'll come out too. Now I'm authenticating. I feel very bad. But the wood that the old windows are made out of, you can't even buy that wood anymore because it's from old growth wood. And usually the species are rather like chestnut,
Oh,
real
yeah.
hard grained woods. You can't even rebuild the windows to do that.
Right.
And old windows are actually, if you put an exterior storm and an interior storm, they'll outperform a vinyl window. Plus they'll last over 100 years. So owning a whole old house in a historic district is a responsibility. You're a caretaker for the time period that you own it and taking care of it, and you're gonna pass it on to the next person, hopefully in better condition. And when they have all the money bags, they can take it back closer to the original condition if they want to. And it's something we gotta do. Anyway, okay, I've said enough.
I just have one more.
Yes.
You said that some people may not be aware that they're in the historical
Yes.
district. So, I know that this list was based off of September 7th, 1993. And I'm sure a lot of these property owners probably still own their property.
You'd be surprised.
But, so I counted roughly, there's like about 100 addresses on there.
It's about 113 or 114.
Yeah, so, maybe in the future, an idea would be to send a postcard just saying, you know, hey,
Well, when we get our manual
okay,
all set up, we're planning on mailing each
great,
some here. And we've included, examples and wherefores and pictures and all kinds of stuff. So that was the plan, but it's been in the works for a long time. And we went to SHPO, I'm making the adjustments, and then, so that was one of our tactics. And we also wanted to try to get a flag into the MLS system. We talked to pretty high levels in that arena, and we couldn't pull it off. There's a little checkbox that says you're in a historic district and pay attention. But we should
like just a postcard to just
say, hey,
you are part
yeah,
of this.
by the
and
way.
There's meetings that you can attend,
Right.
Yes.
and be involved.
Well, let's go back to Battle Alley Coffee, okay? Okay, their building was remodeled in 1980-ish. And so they didn't have to do that
Right,
because it's way before 1993.
right,
I mean, they started vinyl windows in the 70s and 80s, you know? So, but now when they go forward from this point, that's when they
Right.
come and say, and it was great because they wanted to restore it back to the original, blueprint, floor plan, outside, so. And that's what they were able to do, so they brought in wood, like you said, it was not the wood from 1800s, but
Yeah.
it's at least wood and, and it's a beautiful building, so.
yeah, I was just mentioning it because like, some people might be excited to be made aware that they are part of the historical
Exactly.
district.
You're
Usually
right.
they're not, but yes. Yes, usually they're not.
I actually thought that my section was in the
We tried to do the rezoning project, and we came close, but we didn't get it done. But yeah, boss is calling. Our district is actually non-conforming because it is non-contiguous, and that's not the way they did it, or not the way you're supposed to do it. It was also a volunteer entry into it when they first developed it and made it into a district. So there's some flaws in the way it was organized. And we're attempting to do that. We may still be able to do it. Include a lot, include a bunch of buildings in it. And also, make it a little bit larger so we can protect more buildings.
Do we have a current mapping of what we currently have, the different areas that we have? or-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Not on me.
I just never have seen one yet. I know that.
Yeah, we have it at the administration. We also have the proposed new district lines. In fact, were you involved in that, or?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, so
we've been around a while.
now you're making me feel old.
Yeah, they're growing roots
Um,
over there.
We, maybe it's time. We may want to revisit that, I don't know.
Well, because I know Mr. Price is doing a lot of work on our village charter.
Yeah.
And it might be time for us to visit that. So when we're reworking everything, there we go with that. Everybody's working it together, it all goes, works at the same time instead of.
Well, yeah, the first is to get that done, which is close now.
It's my fault.
No, it's not. It was 3 years. It was a lot of work the last 3 years.
It's a lot, yeah. Hopefully it'll pass.
Right. So,
All right, well, that's my comments.
How old is your house?
Mine is built in some argument, 1893, 1895. She's a Queen Anne Victorian.
Mine's Queen Anne Victorian.
Yes.
And the closest we've come to, we know it was built in the 1870s.
Wow, very nice.
I heard my house was built in 1892 and it's a
Nobody
Victorian
knew,
farmhouse.
so we found a note, for those of you keeping score at home, we found a note on a piece of wood underneath one of the windows, and Don Champion put the aluminum siding on, I'm gonna get the date a little bit wrong, but May 16th, 1956.
yeah.
So nobody knew what was underneath her skirt until we took it off.
Was it cedar shake or?
On the exterior of the house, whatever you're seeing is what's underneath. So the top part is actually artisan shake. So, and then she also, the original roof on that was cedar shake, which we would love to put back, but I heard that you can't do that anymore.
You can't, right?
Yeah.
No, because
Maybe we can,
when the tornado hit our house, we had to
Yeah.
put a whole new roof, and we had 2 layers of shingles and then cedar shake.
yeah,
And they had to take, it's not up to code, so they had to take all the cedar shake off.
yeah.
I mean, scrape it all
We're still
off.
fighting, we got damage from that tornado also, and we're still in the midst of a battle with our insurance. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's just wonderful.
We're just about done with
Yeah.
our
Is that-
repairs.
Is that church on Saginaw in the historic district? The one that has that steeple that everybody says is falling down?
It
I don't
is
think
this
so.
Tornado hit it, and it's not because it's right next.
We still in general comments? We're on commission and staff comment. We were coming to you, and then we had a couple other comments.
We blew past you.
Do you have a comment? We're good, no. Oh, no, you're good. We're almost done. We're almost done. Come on, all right, we good? You're good, 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 good?
Good.
All right. I'd like to bring this meeting to a close, 7:25. Thank you for all your help.
So, all right, I got to sign